Hey, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, and I just finished shooting the video on how to take links out of the bracelet to size it on your new Seiko Turtle Prospex. In my case, I have the PADI, the PADI version. And I have to tell you, it's all, I took every bit of self-control I could muster to not say the C word constantly on this video, because the little friction pins they're little bastards, let me tell you what. These are not the old one-piece split friction pin of the past. This is a one solid friction pin, but with a second piece, it's a little sleeve or a collar that fits over the second, fits over the bottom half of the friction pin. So you jam one end of the hole and you shove the other up the other end, and you've got to marry them together. And let me tell you, that little sleeve, it's like a 1/16 of an inch tall, and it's about as, you could thread a human hair through it, but not much more. Anyway, learn from my mistakes, watch this video, and hopefully you'll save yourself a lot of frustration.
Hey guys, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, and I'm here with the Seiko PADI, P-A-D-I. Real quick, I'll show you the box. Remind you what we're dealing with here is the SRPA21. That is the Seiko PADI. You can kind of see it there. It's a little obscured by the hour hand, but it's the Professional Association of Dive Instructors with the blue dial and the Pepsi bezel. So the purpose of this video, though, is to discuss how to size the bracelet. That's what we're going to be doing today. I have already made a watch day video talking about waiting for this watch, so please find that on my channel. In fact, please subscribe, because then we can do this again together. I post videos once a week, sometimes twice a week, so please do subscribe. And then also look back for the unboxing video. I had a fun time unboxing this. But during the unboxing video on this guy, I promised to talk about sizing the bracelet. So it comes on a big old sloppy bracelet, and I have a 7 1/4 inch wrist, so I don't have the smallest wrist in the world. But to my eye, this would fit an 8-inch wrist right out of the barrel, maybe 8 1/4 even. So clearly they give you extra. Deployment clasp, it's just kind of a cheap metal stamping for the clasp and the deployment bit. However, the bracelet really isn't bad, and I'll do a really thorough review of the watch and the bracelet in the review video. But for right now, let's just talk about this bracelet. Now, I did order one of these little tools. I don't even remember what it's called, the little watch tool. I know, sorry, it's a spring bar tool, because you know, with straps you can kind of get under the strap and contact the spring bar and kind of like retract it and pop it out. And this particular watch has drilled lugs, so you get this end in there to kind of like punch the spring bar back a little bit so that you can remove the bracelet. That's not what we're going to do here, though. I sometimes use this when I'm dealing with friction pins. So in here is a little pin that holds these links together. Now, I am so not an expert about this, but hey, this is one of those things where I really don't need to go to the watchmaker for. Anything that it's complicated, I run to the watchmaker and I pay the 10 or 20 bucks to have them do it. But this is a little easier. Okay, so first, when you flip over the typical Seiko bracelet, you'll notice arrows. Here, the arrows on this side are pointing up. And what that indicates is that these little friction pins that are in there, they drive down in that direction. So you drive them, you poke them in the direction of the arrow. Right? See the little arrow? So we're going to poke them up that way. And but we're going to want to remove links on both sides. So there's arrows on the other sides as well. All right. Now I'm going to be busy, so shush. Let me try and figure this out without either harming myself or this watch. I'm just going to, I'll take something randomly out in the middle. So I've got my tool in here, and I'm just going to push. The thing you got to be careful of is slipping, because you'll definitely scratch the side of the link. You'll also have to be careful about pushing the pin right into your finger, because they're sharp. Once you get them out, they're kind of sharp. All right, so push, push. See if I can make this visible. Oh, look at that. See it coming up? So I can kind of see it poking out here a little bit. And Looks like my tool isn't quite long enough, is it? Or did I just pull? Oh, look, there's something. I don't know what it is. It's a piece of the friction pin. It has come out on my finger. So yeah, this video might be on how to fuck up your watch. I don't know. I haven't had that happen to me before. So let me proceed and see what happens. If I end up having to run to the watchmaker, I will let you know. Now, this little guy here is no longer long enough. Usually they poke out and I can kind of, I can get my finger on them. So that is sticking out there, but let's see if I can grip it. Oh yeah, I'm able to pull. So all those years of sewing class finally coming in handy. Okay, so very small little guy. Ooh, don't go anywhere. Now, why it appears to be a two-piece friction pin, I don't know. Let's proceed, however. Put that down. Now, I've got that apart, but I'm going to have to remove another friction pin. The thing I'm worried about is getting it put back together. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but we'll see what happens. I think what it is that little piece is an end cap for that. That's what I think, but we'll see. The big deal here in a situation like this is not to go crazy, not to get mad, go slow, and if you fuck it up, put all the little pieces in a baggie and go to the watch guy. Okay, so I got to get a second one of these out because I don't know. I think I'll take it down to here because that'll remove two links. Let's see if we have the same issue happen. I'm just going to push. That one's being a little more stubborn. So I'm going to push. And we'll see what happens on the other side. Be careful you don't jab yourself on either end. That's a bit unpleasant. Wow. That's being really stubborn. So I put some force on that. There's a little fixture that you can buy, but I do this so rarely that I never really thought it was worthwhile to buy the fixture. I might be regretting that now. So I'm doing some inside, pushing in that direction pretty hard. Oh, it's finally started to give a little. There we go. I got a little movement, and you can see it's kind of popping out the other side. Now what I got to be careful of, it's like I'm not meticulous. You may have noticed. I'm working at a trash pick dining room table, by the way. So if those things scatter, I'm in big frickin' trouble. So on the end of my tool here, I've got the little collar. So they're definitely two-piece. You also see I kind of bent my little tool. I gotta say, this was a cheapie. It comes with replacement tips in a couple different sizes. So I'm just gonna I'll straighten it out off camera. But if you do this with any regularity, you should not buy one of these cheap ones that bends. You should buy like a decent one. But there's my little collar, and sticking out here is the end of that friction pin. Let's see if I can get a grip on it. I know this is a really ghetto way of doing things, guys. So those of you who have better tools, you're advised to use them. I've learned the most important thing is to just keep your freaking cool. Because if you get upset, what happens is you end up scratching things and jabbing yourself, and it's just not worth it. Or I'm going to turn off the camera and collect myself. I might need a shot of Everclear here. Hang on. I'll be right back. Okay, I did not get the shot of Everclear. I just took a deep breath because, I don't know about you guys, but this kind of stuff makes me nervous. I'm not good at it. I'm always kind of anxious, like, oh, fuck, man, I want to wear my watch. So I hope I don't have to wait until tomorrow because the watch guy's closed. But anyway, so it's just really just stay patient. And don't scratch anything. That's really the biggest deal. And if it's complicated, don't do it. Or at least that's me. I'm so not mechanical. I never learned to knit even. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put them together. And then it's just a question of getting one of these little boogers. And I'm not too sure how the two-piece things work. I mean, clearly, oops, it's going away. Clearly, as soon as I pick it up. Well, you can see here, this side here is thicker and that side is thinner, so this kind of fits over the end there. So clearly the skinny side of that piece, boy, I hope you're enjoying my technical approach to this. So skinny, chubby on that end, skinny side in. Basically, I think I'm giving you all a lesson on the birds and the bees. Skinny side in. Okay, so actually that just kind of like, bam, just fell into position. Let me see if it needs a little push with my slightly misaligned tool. Okay, so it's in the hole. Forgive my language. It's in the hole. But now I'm going to take this little guy here. I want to move the camera because I don't want to move the watch. And it's right here. That's where it's got to drop in. Now I'm looking here. It's kind of ending up off camera. Man, this piece is tiny. I almost wish I had tweezers here. It's like a collar, you know. So it's clearly intended to drop in there, and then just go right around that little friction pin. And in fact, it's just dropped in there, but I'm going to have to poke it to get it down and in, and get it on top of. I'm just going to kind of tap it down to get it to go into that pin. Now, in theory, I got it, you know, but as a practical matter, I don't know. Oh, look, it fell out. I think that's it, that it fell out. So let me see. Let me see if I can get it back in, and if it'll stay in. Because what has to happen is it has to drop on top of that pin. I know this is some shitty camera work, guys, but I'm less worried right now about the camera and more, you know, concerned with getting this straight without losing it, which I just did. So I'll be on the floor for a few minutes. Wish me luck. Well, that was a miracle. I found it. So, but I'm beginning to wish that I hadn't gone this route, and I don't like these friction pins. These are some of the worst ones. 2-piece friction pins. What the fuck? All right, I've dropped it back into the hole, but it doesn't seem to do anything. So I don't know how these guys are intended to come out, because I've pushed it back, but it's clearly going to just fall apart. So it'll be off to the watchmaker for me. I think there's a much better friction pin. Okay, so I calmed down, I turned off the camera, I figured it out, and I think I have it. But I have to say, these 2-piece friction pins, Seiko, fuck you. Just fuck. That sucks. Because most of the ones that I'm familiar with are what are it's a single piece, so you don't have that little collar. That little collar thickens up the end of the pin, placing friction in the hole so it won't just pop out. Mostly what you see is where it's thick on one end, and then the other end it's like split in half, so you can kind of like pry them apart, and then that's the friction. So why Seiko decided a 2-piece little booger is better, I don't know, but they're a little bitch to deal with. So I gotta say, I don't recommend it. If you're working, be sure that you are working over a space where these things aren't going to roll on the floor. Because I was on my hands and knees for a couple minutes to find this little guy, and I don't even know how to explain to you how little it is, but it's like, it's not even 1/4 of an inch tall. It's very tiny. All right, I'm going to turn this thing off and see if I can get the other side, but I'm not taking you with me on this journey because it's getting boring and annoying. Okay, I decided to man up, and I'm gonna try and do this on camera because I think it might be useful for you to see how it's done, but let me not lose those little guys. Okay, so what I've done is I've looked in the hole, and I don't think you're gonna be able to see this on camera, but when you, let's see if I can look. When you look into the hole, on one side of the hole, one end of the hole, you see the pin, and it looks kind of solid. That would be the solid end of, let me move it closer. That would be this. It's not cooperating, but you can see in the light here, this side is solid, and that little collar which is all the way over here, it needs to like fit, you know, over that little guy, and you can even see the spot where it's going to like fit on, right? So when you look in the hole, I notice, I can tell with the eye anyway, a little hard in the camera, but what I'm seeing on this side here is this guy here, okay? And if I flip it over conversely, I don't think it'll focus and show us. Maybe it will, not too sure. But what I see is I'm seeing that collar. So if I push in here, I'm just going to be inserting my tool, which happens to fit like right into the end of that. I don't want that. So I'm going to push on this side here. So to conclude this miserable video, let me tell you what finally worked. Those little round hollow collars tend to pop out when you're pushing in on the solid pin side of it. So if you will just take the tip of a ballpoint. So what I was trying to say there was just take the tip of a ballpoint pen and hold it up against the hole in the link where the collar or sleeve resides, and then use a sharp tool such as the spring bar tool that I'm using here to push in the chubby side of the friction pin. The ballpoint pen will hold the sleeve or that little collar in place while the spring bar tool is forcing those two pieces together. That's actually going to work fine. But the things that I learned from this miserable experience were to work on a surface that has like a towel or a tablecloth, because the smooth surface of my table made my things roll around a lot, and tweezers would make this job a lot easier. So it's not all that much fun, but it's definitely owner doable. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and let me say I certainly did not, so don't expect another video of this type. I typically do thoughts, rants, and watch reviews. I'm never taking apart another bracelet on camera again. I think I'm cured. But listen, since I suffered for your sins, do me a favor, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.